Right. Hey, お願いします。I'm down. Okay, side to side. Hey, use your shoulders. Circles one way, and circles the other way. And arms forward and going back. And show it. Hey, you commit. Hey, waves. Hey, side. Stop. One side. Either side. Shot. Both sides. And back. Outside. Inside. Outside. Inside. Feet high. Front. High. And front. Oh. Wait. Front and back. But close. Right side. Down. Hey. Nice, lucky. Hand tight. There you go. Side. 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 Up. Down. Side. Up. Down. And sideways. And forward, down. Your knees, put them back. And circles, one way. And circles the other way. Ish. Front. Open toes. Hey, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Eight. Oops. Opening your legs and lowering. Hey, coming forward, coming back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And looking up to the ceiling on one side, looking up the other side, and pivoting to one side. So, pivot, the other side. So, hips up, hips down, hips up, down, hips up, spine up, and circles. Mesh. On your legs. Lowering, side, lower the other side. Those up on one side, those up, yes. Hands in front, change. Hey, on your legs, elbows down. Hey, so forward, hips back, forward, hips back, forward, hips up, hips down, hips up, hips down, and back. One side and the other side. One side, the other side, one side, and the other side. Right side. Breathe in. Go. Ki. Go. One more cue. Cool. Hey, thank you. So this just very quickly, as I mentioned last week, and I've been mentioning the last few weeks about our strength and conditioning program that you have on your in the member site of our website, um, and then that you can download into your phone. Again, it's a good program that hopefully helps us to complement a lot of the training that we do on the mat and all the technical training. It's very important to try to complement it with this individual training, strength and conditioning, just for basically targeting the three things that our dojo is very proud of. In one hand, the functionality of its movements and its practice. And once again, functionality in this case means something that can help us to live a better day-to-day life in terms of movements, trying to minimize as much as possible, injuries and things like that in our day-to-day activities. The idea of being foundational in health, well, that's pretty self-explanatory, I think. The fact of having responsibility and agency on our own health, it's very important. And that includes things like, the way you eat and the rest you have and the type of physical activities you wish to engage and so on. So in this case, hopefully that contributes to that. And then the idea of being formative in character, to be able to train by ourselves is a difficult thing. It means that sometimes that's what's good to have a community, either in person or at least online, where you know that you have to be at a certain time to do it, because otherwise for us to carve time of our daily routines to do something like an individual training or solo training is a difficult thing. But once again, it helps us with developing those elements of character. As I said the other day, the exercise or the program has a number of exercises, mobility, and then a couple of strength circuits. And I think that is okay for us to do here a little bit of the strength, sorry, of the mobility ones, just for people to be a little bit familiar with, and then you can find the other ones, the strengthening circuits in the app. So, for example, the one of this week, just to do these four exercises, five exercises for the mobility. Well, let's do them. So. I don't know where it is my band, but anyway, okay. So the first exercise that the program of one of the routines of this week is a basic cat cow, but with a resistance band. I don't have my resistance band at the moment. I don't know where they are. But let's just do them. So it's basically our basic exercise of tilting our pelvic area from a cat to a cow position. You know. So just tilting your pelvic area from cow, cat, from one side to the other. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10. That awareness of the cat-cow exercise, which is good as a mobility exercise, but remember, it also helps us for basic posture. Remember that pelvic alignment is one of the three things that affect our posture. So if my pelvis is poorly aligned, and let's say it's pushing backwards, doesn't matter how much I fix my shoulders and how I fix my head, my posture is still poor. If my pelvis is overly tilted forward, okay, again, it's going to look like a non-natural and potentially, eventually harmful way of sitting. So learning how to tilt your pelvis and then find a good balance supporting your spine is very important. And the cat-cow exercise definitely brings awareness to that type of mobility motion. Okay, a four-way hip opener. So the second exercise is a 4 ways opening your hip. So let's way one, going forward. Second way, going down and sitting. Third way, opening 90 degrees and opening. And fourth way, crossing your leg in front, almost what they sometimes call a pigeon pose, and try to rock back and sit. All right, the other side. 4 ways of opening the hip, going forward and going back and sitting. Going 90 degrees and opening. Crossing your leg, pigeon pose, and sitting back. So, all right, the next one, I'm supposed to have my bands somewhere, but the next one is bands dislocate. So that's where you use your resistance bands and you grab your bands and open, with resistance, working on the opening of your shoulders. Okay, so you can do that. All the exercises have an option to do just body weight. So in this case, we'll be just consciously opening, your shoulders and pulling back from your shoulders, using your back muscles, not using your elbows, not using your wrists, but focusing on opening the shoulders and opening the back, opening the shoulders, opening the back, shoulders and back, shoulders and back. And it's a good idea also to do it in a diagonal way. So just open shoulders and back, shoulders back, shoulders and back, shoulders and back. And I'll change the direction of the diagonal, shoulders and back, shoulders and back, shoulders, shoulders. So shoulders and shoulders. Good. So that will be another exercise. The next one is the world greatest stretch. So this exercise where you put one leg forward, one leg back. You engage your glute, but lower your hip a little bit, and hand goes up, breathing out. Hand goes in, breathing in, and then breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out, go up. Breathe in, breathe out, down. In, out, up. In, out, down. A couple more. Breathe in, breathe out. And breathe in, breathe out. Last one. In, out. In, out. Good. Now to each side. Opposite leg. Lower your hip, engage your glute. Breathe in, breathe out. And down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Last one. Up. Down. And relax. All right, and the last one of that routine, okay, is this alternating pogo jumps with a lunge. So basically, you're going to have your feet in front, second one back. You're going to do a few jumps on the spot and try to do a lunge, nice and lunge. I don't know how you pronounce that. Nice and control. Lower your knee, not banging your knee on the ground, but just lowering your knee. Okay, so one in front, one back. 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 9. 1, 2, 3, 10. Change. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and arrows. All right, so once again, that is, for example, the set of exercises of the mobility routine of the last session. You make sure to do a good warm-up first and then do the mobility routine. The mobility routine is not really a warm-up. It's very important to do a warm-up, which there is also one there. It's a very short version of our basic Aikido warm-up. It's in there. So make sure to have a good warm-up, go into the mobility routine, do exercises like this, which are very important for that. And then after that, there's a couple of sets or a couple of circuits, not sets, but a couple of circuits of strength exercises, which are going to target your lower body, your core, and your upper body. Primordially lower body and core, because it's more relevant for our Aikido training. But also, there are parts of the body that we do not target in Aikido. Every physical activity has parts of the body that are neglected, parts of the body that are very much under stress and demand, and parts of the body that are neglected. So part of the idea of the conditioning program is to also bring attention to the parts that are neglected in order to not leave them behind in an overall looking after of your body. So anyway, so that's how the program more or less is structured. This was just the mobility routine of the last session. As I say, the whole session should take you around 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It only has 2 sets or 2 circuits. Obviously, the way to make it longer is by adding another circuit. Usually, a session in the gym usually has whatever set of exercises you are doing up to 4 sets. So that's why usually you're in the gym for about 45 minutes, 1 hour. This routine is a shorter version of that, half an hour, 40 minutes. The way to make it longer, you just simply add another set on everything that you're doing, and that way you're making it longer. Okay. So, so that's to do with the program. Let us review the Iriminage forms that Moreno Sensei taught during his seminar a few weeks ago. On that day, we had the opportunity to do 3 types of Gyoko Menuchi Iriminage techniques. So let us review that. So the first one, first of all, let's do Gyoko Menuchi. So we practice that first. Remember, Gyoko Menuchi basically starts the same as Shomenuchi, in the sense that your hand always goes to the front and then steps and cuts. Okay, but it's very important to remember to start Gyoko Menuchi pretty much the same as Shomenuchi, as opposed to sometimes people goes, and because it's a Gyoko Menuchi, they start with the hand overly exposed to the side. So just to keep it as a basic thing, hand goes above the head. So the only thing that more or less gives it away is that in Shomenuchi, same foot, same hand goes above the head, and you kind of use your normal Shomenuchi. Gyoko Menuchi is opposite, opposite head, opposite hand, opposite leg, but it still goes to the side, to above, and then steps in. So, if it's same side foot, same side hand goes above, slide, Shomenuchi. If it's opposite foot, opposite hand goes above, step, Gyoko Menuchi. But the idea is that the hand goes above, and from there, the action happens. So maybe let's just practice a few Gyoko Menuchis first, so we still get with that idea. So Gyoko Men, 1, side, Gyoko Men, 2, and 3, 8, 4, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, very important to remember to step. Okay, on the shoulder. So depending on the type of technique, sometimes a partner enters too early, and we don't have exactly the time to step. But it's a good, thing to remember that we need to always step in with our Gyoko Menuchi. Okay, so so the first form of Iriminage coming from that Gyoko Menuchi is just a basic entry where my partner is going to do Jokomenuchi. I'm going to enter, cut his Jokomen hand down towards his body, raise my other hand, and enter directly. It's just an Irimi form. Okay, so my partner comes with Jokomenuchi. I'm going to enter to his Jokomen hand, lower their Jokomen hand towards their body while enter with their hand and attack. Okay, so effectively, person comes here, Jokomenuchi, my hand enters, controls their hand, and then the other hand enters in Iriminage form, in a Iriminage form. Okay, so basic form first, entering, dropping down towards the body, second hand up, and projects. Enters, cuts down towards the body, up, and projects. Enters, cuts down toward the body, up, enter, cuts down towards the body, up, and projects. Okay, so enter, slide, go down towards the body, up, projects. Enter, cuts down towards the body, up, projects. Entering, up, entering, up, projects. Okay, so there's a lot of little things in there. So entering, dropping down towards the body, up, and projecting. So you can almost like, how many is that? 4 or 5 things. Enter, go down towards the body, up, project. There's 2 separated in there. Eventually, the actual technique just goes enter and project. Enter and project. So see, now you can make them not 1, 2, 3, 4, but see, you can make it at least 2 or ideally 1 motion. But at least 2 motions, ideally 1 motion. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The most difficult thing, obviously, on this exercise is to do it to be on time, right? Because the idea is that if your partner is here, your partner is going to start the Jokomen before the Jokomen fully develops. Okay, is when you will be entering, cutting, and the most difficult thing is to have the correct timing. Remember, sometimes we struggle with timing. Sometimes we feel that we are too late, and timing, in a sense, it's true. We may be reacting too late. We may be a little bit asleep and then suddenly waking up. So maybe I have to do with timing. But just before you correct that, just try to see if your initial distance is correct. Because if your distance is incorrect, if you are too far from your partner in order to start the motion, then it doesn't matter how awake you are, you will feel that you have to rush in too much. So yep, you may be asleep, you may be slow in reacting. That's true, and that's something that needs to be corrected. But in a more tangible scenario, just check, am I at a distance, that is far enough that I am safe from the initial attack of my partner, as in if we don't move, but close enough that allows me to move only with 1 slide or with 1 step, with 1 motion, in order for me to reach the partner. Okay, because if I am too far and I need 2 slides or a really big slide, then there's something wrong with my distance. Okay, so anyway, so distance and timing are very strongly related, but they are not the same thing. Okay, so, and in a way, probably distance is a little bit more tangible, it's a bit more concrete. Timing has to do with your capacity to react, to perceive, to respond, to process, a whole bunch of things that are a little bit more, but distance is a bit more objective. So yeah, just check your distance whenever you practice. If you feel that you are rushing or you are not getting there or you are too late, you may have to do something with timing, but definitely has also something to do with distance. Okay. So anyway, so that's number 1. Number 2, the difficult thing about this technique is that the part of the body, the part of the of the arm of my uke that I must control in order to do it a more effective, more efficient way is my partner's forearm. Okay, so if I enter at the level of my partner's forearm and cut, it's going to be very different from if I enter in the level of my partner's elbow and try to cut. There is almost nothing to cut in there, or if I enter at the level of the hand. So being able to accurately enter at the level of my partner's forearm and then use the forearm to cut is very important. Okay, otherwise we feel that we cannot do it. So let's do 4 more. Okay, so enter. Remember, distance, controlling the forearm, and then doing your Iriminage. The second one, enter, distance, controlling forearm, Iriminage. Distance, forearm, Iriminage. More distance of the forearm and Iriminage. Okay, so that was version 1 of the Iriminage, so the Yoko Menuchi Iriminage with an entry. Version 2 was similar. Let's use similar form. You would enter, but instead of cutting down and entering directly, we just control, pass on top, let the person pass, and Iriminage. So in this case, was enter, blocking or stopping the Yoko Menuchi, passing the hand on top. This is something that sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we go below, passing the hand on top, let the Yoko Menuchi hand pass, control your partner's spine, and then step and it. Okay, so enter, one hand to the forearm, one hand to the partner, hand on top. Okay, let the Yoko Menuchi pass, control the spine, and end. Entering, hand on top, control the spine, and end. Okay, so enter, hand on top, pass, control the spine, and Yoko hand on top, pass, control the spine, and end. A little more. Enter, on top, control the spine, and enter. More. Entering, on top, control the spine, and enter. All right, so on this exercise, there is a little detail that Sensei does, which makes a lot of sense once you're in practice, which is it's almost like a concept of a double entry, right? So you're going to enter here first. So that stops the Yoko. But now, okay, you're partially in front of your partner at this moment. If you simply remove the hand that is controlling the partner from here to here, the partner may be able to see you, may have a bit more chance of being aware of your presence. So what Sensei does basically is he enters, and then as soon as he's moving this hand, he does like a second entry and goes behind the partner. Then controls the person and enters. So it's almost like a double entry. I mean, depends on a few things, depending how strong the Yokomen is, how much is the Yokomen being committed forward. If it's a very committed Yokomen, you may not need to do that double entry because the Yokomen is moving forward. But if the Yokomen is a little bit more stable, then what happens is one motion to block the Yokomen, second motion to pass the Yokomen, and then entry. Okay, so just practice that double entry. Okay, first to block, second to pass, and control and project. First to block, second to pass, control, project. First one to block, second to pass, control, project. First one to block, second to pass, control, project. All right. So remember that second motion that passes you, okay, puts you deeper into the position of the partner, which is always going to be a good idea, okay? Unless the technique that you're performing is a technique that has to be partially in front, like let's say a ripo, okay? But being deeper into the space of the partner is never not a good idea because there are more options. The deeper you are in the space of the partner, that the risks that are if you are in front of the partner, okay? So that's why pay attention to that second entry, okay? So 1, 2, and So 1, 2, and start once. 1, 2, forget. 1, 2, forget. So 1, 2, forget. So 1, 2, and just remember just to keep the language together. Okay, when we slide forward, okay, and it's the front foot in this case leading the movement, that's called okuriashi. Okay, you will slide forward, but it's the back foot leading the movement. We will call that sugiashi. So in this case, you could say that we go okuriashi 1, okuriashi 2. Okay, so right foot, okuriashi 1, okuriashi 2. Okay, okuriashi 1, okuriashi 2. Okay, okuriashi 1, okuriashi 2. All right. Now, again, so that's to do with the feet. Remember, with your hands, we're going to enter and block the first yokomen, and then your hand that is on the level of the person. This is the level of the arm. This one is at the level of the person. Okay, is going to keeping that extension. Is going to pass on top when you move. And here you're going to control the spine, and then you're going to move in. Okay, so hands. Here is the person. Here is the arm. The one at the level of the person passes on top of the second arm while you keep moving in. Control the spine. And okay. So, all right. So that will be the second way that Sensei did his motion. And then the third way that Sensei did his Iriminage motion was same thing, Yoko Minuchi. Sensei would enter and do a violent cut of the arm, pass the arm, step behind, and then enter for Iriminage. So stepping in, turning and cutting, stepping behind the person, and feeding. Okay, stepping in, turning and cutting, stepping behind the person, and feeding. Right? Stepping in, cutting, behind the person, and feeding. Okay, so in this case, Sensei will cut very clearly and forcefully the Yoko Minuchi of the palm. So stepping and turning, cutting down with intention. Okay, so ich, ni, dan, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, glue, you. Okay, let's do that again. And now please just bring extra awareness to two joints that are the main joints of this exercise. If we are not careful, we use important joints, but not essential joints, like the elbows, for example. Like the elbows. So the elbows are important, but not essential. What is very important in this, very essential in this motion is your shoulders, making sure that you are raising from the level of your shoulders, okay, not from the level of your elbows, okay, from the level of your shoulders. And then when you are lowering, you lower the shoulders and lower the hips. You raise your shoulders, lower hips. Shoulders, lower hips. So exaggerate, in the sense of your raising of hands, paying attention to raising with your shoulders, not with your elbows. Okay, so let's do it again, please. Stepping and cutting, focusing on shoulders and focusing on hips. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right. So after that, step and cut. So step, cut. Then you step in behind, control the spine, and continue with this. Okay. So let's just do that, please. So step, cut, step behind, up, continue projection. Step, turn, step behind, control, continue pretty much. Well, step, turn, step behind, and continue pretty much. So, step, start, step behind, and continue pretty much. Right? So, those will be the three ways that Sensei did Iriminage. Let's just do a quick review on them. Okay, so number one, enter, cutting down, and enter, cutting down, second one, enter, control, double entry, pass behind, and feeding up. Enter, second entry, pass behind, feeding up. And third one, step, cut, pass behind, and feeding up. Step, cut, enter, pass behind, feeding up. I will do them for a little bit myself, and if you want to do them by yourself, just practice them in your own time. Okay, so all right. So the important thing not important, but just something to notice is that in none of these exercises, Sensei did the Yoko Kuriashi, bringing the person down and coming up. Now, that doesn't mean anything either way. It just means that we need to be able to see what's the lesson on the day, because pretty much the first one is not possible because it's very direct. The first one is just an entry, then an immediate entry. But the other two, Sensei could have chosen to go entry, double entry, and then Yoko Kuriashi down, control the person down, come up, and entry when you take the person down. And on the last one, on the stepping and turning, he would have chosen to go up, cut, step behind, Yoko Kuriashi, bring the person down, up, and step and turn. So he could have chosen those motions in those forms of Iriminage if he wanted to emphasize the Yoko Kuri and the idea of bringing the person down, controlling their spine, and then up into Iriminage. Or on the ones he did in the seminar, he didn't choose the option of going down. He just kept them very direct. So it's very important just to see what the sensei is doing on that day, and try to emulate it. That's why someone was doing grading on that day, and they asked me, hey, what should we be doing in our grading? And I went like, what's absolutely like really essential, that you try to demonstrate anything that you learned during the seminar. Okay, so because whatever is being shown by sensei in the grading in the seminar trumps anything else that you think we've been practicing. So be very present, be very aware. That's part of the exercise. Okay, so if people were, for example, practicing a lot of Iriminages where you were going down and sideways in order to do the technique, that's okay. That definitely will be a part of the Kihon. But if sensei during the seminar demonstrated only direct forms, I would possibly be focusing only on direct forms during the grading for that day. So it's an exercise of being present, and honoring the lesson that in that particular moment, that particular teacher is trying to share with you. Anyway, okay, so that was the Iriminage sequences that we did with sensei. Picture uniform. And let's finish up. Hey. Hey. Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you.